All right, welcome to Valley Road for this round 2 fixture and the first home fixture at Valley Road this season between the Devonport Strikers and the Olympia Warriors. It is and has been called already by the great Walter Pless, perhaps the clash for the top two teams competing for the NPL title this season. My name is Camille Douglas and you have me for the next 90 minutes, lucky for you. I'm flying solo today. No one's been able to join me in commentary, but we're looking forward to a very entertaining fixture with two teams packed with talent and pace and speed and skill. We're not too far away from Kickoff here at Valley Road, only a few minutes away. As you can see now, the teams on your screen has the players, as we can see, making their way out to the pitch for the Devonport Strikers. Nathan Pitchford continues in goals this season for them. Eddie Bidwell in the 11. Max Fitzgerald, a new player making his NPL debut for the Devonport Strikers today from the Gold Coast. Ignacio Giampoli has only arrived last week in the state, but he will take his place, an attacking midfielder, an Argentinian. Todd Hingston, a seasoned veteran of State League football in Tasmania, having played with Northern Rangers and Devonport Strikers. Guillermo Lascano, the Spanish acquisition from the Devonport Strikers, had a superb season for them last year. Kieran Mulroney, named in the last week the Devonport Strikers captain, so he will lead them out today. Connor Park, another new signing for Devonport Strikers this year from over Burnie Way. He'll play in the back line today, as will Dom Smith. Joel Stone we know very well, a superstar in the midfield for the Devonport Strikers, and Daniel Syson rounds out the 11, and a substitutes bench brimming with talent there. Kynan West, Tom Pearce, the spare goalkeeper, Brody Dennehy, Jack Dance and Charles Bidwell. Over with the Olympia Warriors, who from a quick scan on screen look like they've named an unchanged 11 from the team that defeated South Hobart in the round 1 fixture against last week. They'll line up, I imagine, the same in a 4-3-3. Kurtz will play on a wing, probably the left wing. Lucas Hill, the big man at centre back for them, was gigantic against South Hobart and will prove a tough block to knock over today for the Devonport Strikers. Johnny Ladage scored an absolute screamer volley from outside the 18-yard box against South Hobart to score the first goal of the NPL season, and he'll be looking to double up that today. Kyle McDonald in goals. Nicholas Mearns has made a return from injury for the Olympia Warriors this season and made a promising start last week. Joffrey Nkoso will give the Devonport Strikers a headache as he runs up and down that right flank. Ortman will take a position in the back line. Jack Ryan, the English striker, who I'm very much looking forward to seeing after having heard lots of good things, as with Jordan Scott, another Englishman, another foreigner for the Olympia Warriors. Paul Stevens, cool, calm and collected, will be at centre back, and Jake Vandermeer most likely play at left back today. On the subs bench, Brayton Allen, Darby Randall, Jake Thompson, John Mulungla, a bit of a mouthful that one for me there, and Ben Curtis round out the substitutes bench for the Olympia Warriors. So interested to see how the Devonport Strikers line up today, who lines up where. They've got a mix of players who can play different positions. I can tell you the back line, but it'll be a bit of a raffle for those who end up in midfield and on the various wings and up top. So look forward to seeing how they line up and what kind of tactics they use under their new coach. Also from the Gold Coast, Rick Coughlin taking the reins of the Devonport Strikers this season. As the players shake hands, we're about to get underway in what is a massive fixture so early on in this season. The two title favourites potentially going at it here. You can see the table there, and Zebras with a ridiculous goal difference, having given Clarence an absolute thumping midweek. 9-0. Olympia, a perfect record, having defeated South Hobart. South taking the chocolates against Kingborough 2-1 during the week as well. And you can hear Rod Andrews here at Valley Road.
Round 2 of the NPL Tasmania season. Great game, our first home game. Looking forward to a fantastic year. This should be a fantastic game. The Devonport TAS Strikers and the Olympia Warriors. As the season goes on, as the game goes on, you'll get to know some of our players. You've got a program in the gate. And we look forward to a fantastic day. Remember, Tasmania magnificent. And just a reminder that we have the Total Performance Sports penalty shootout at half time. So any of the kids there out there that want to have an opportunity to throw in a $50 gift voucher from Total Performance Sports, make your way to the front of the ground just at half time, and we'll get out there and get the banner up and get in amongst it. Big thank you to TBS, Total Performance Sports, our major sponsor this year. Looking forward to a great season, looking forward to a great day.
Yeah. Unsurprisingly, Rod Andrews, former president of the Devonport Soccer Club there, giving an ground announcement there and perhaps labouring a little long on the microphone as the teams line up. How will Devonport line up? Obviously Lascano and Mulroney at centre back, Smith at left back, Connor Park at right back, Todd Hingston looks like he's going to play holding midfield, Daniel Syson in midfield as well. Joel Stone looks like he might be playing up top at the 9. Eddie Bidwell on the right wing. And Fitzgerald over on the left. The ball long forward to get this one underway, and it's going to be a throw-in for the Devonport Strikers on the left wing. So as you heard, the pitch is in excellent condition today. It's going to be very good for footballers. Joel Stone gets a nice early touch here in the corner. A few tricks, a few step overs, a cut back, and a flick to no one in particular, and Olympia will clear long up the line where Mulroney will collect. Tom Smith with the throw-in for the Devonport Strikers here early. Joel Stone on the ball again, and he's been bundled over. No whistle from the man in the middle, so it's just a throw in. Todd Hingston on the ball as the Devonport Strikers make the running early. Joel Stone has had 3 or 4 touches, another step over as he comes back out. The Devonport Strikers being patient here as they'll recycle possession all the way back. Smith to Mulroney. Hingston, a little slip on the ball, but really caught in possession Hingston, and he lays back to Smith. And we have an early injury here potentially to Nick Mearns. It looks like hopefully nothing serious. We know the injury trouble that he's had, and you can see the replay on screen here. It was just a innocuous little bump into Hingston as he tried to win the ball. Mearns still prone on the ground here. Hopefully he'll be able to get up and continue to play. It will be a tragedy for him to be injured again, but he's stretching it out. It looks like it might have just been a corky is what was being signalled from the bench. As Mearns makes his way off the pitch, but it looks like he'll be right to resume play, and we'll have a drop ball, and I think Olympia might knock this back to Devonport all the way back to Pitchford in goals. So Lascano plays a raking ball over to the left. The Devonport Strikers in a promising position here, but the ball wasted on the left foot there for the Devonport Strikers in a good position, and an excellent ball from the Spaniard Lascano there to get the Strikers into attacking position. As the Strikers look to squeeze here, look to press. Ball long up the line. Mulroney heads clear. Vandermeer up with Bidwell. Joel Stone with the throw in. Stone running out. Vandermeer goes past. The flag will go up from Charlie Vella on the line, and Devonport Strikers will have a free kick in a very promising position here. So they're replaying the screen. A bit of fancy footwork from Joel Stone, who's been bright early for Devonport. He's been pulled down, and there's a few boys there for Devonport trying to raffle off who's going to whip this one over. Who will it be? So Sarson with his back to the ball. Ball's in low. Oh, low to the near post. Lascano running on. And it is going to be a goal kick, so maybe Lascano did get the final touch there. As Olympia look to play out from the back, Ryan lays it back to Vandermeer, who comes up the line towards Mearns, who's returned to play. Attempted clear from Mulroney, only runs into Nkoso, but the ball from Mearns doesn't find the target, and Devonport will now look to play out. Some good one-touch football there from Joel Stone. Eddie Bidwell gets the cheers from the kids in the stand, but Vandermeer wins it back. He comes inside to the Englishman, Scott, and then Nkoso and Stevens will clear all the way back to McDonald, who looks to switch play wide to Kurtz there, who runs up the wing. He looks to get the ball in. It doesn't really hit the cross particularly well, but it comes off Smith and will be thrown in an attacking position for the Olympia Warriors. Some 5 minutes into this first half here at Valley Road, the first home game for the Devonport Strikers, the first game of the season, in fact, after their clash with the Zebras last week was called off due to the heat in Hobart. Jack Ryan shares a name with the Tom Clancy fantasy action character. Joffrey Nkoso runs at Park here. He looks inside to Ryan, but they weren't on the same wavelength, and the Devonport Strikers captain Mulroney clears. Vandermeer gets it under. He doesn't quite get hold of the clearance, and he comes back to Stevens. Feet of Mearns. Nkoso here. Back to Mearns then, and then Vandermeer. And Olympia will look to switch play. A big switch there for Olympia. And Olympia on the ball. High and wide again on the right wing to Kurtz. It comes all the way back to their Englishman and Scott. He comes forward to Jack Ryan. He's got the best. He's got a promising side of Lascano, but couldn't quite find the finishing touch or pass, and Devonport will look to counter, but the ball's turned over and Olympia in possession again. A tackle from Mearns there, penalised, and Devonport have a free kick deep in their half, as the beginning stanzas of this fixture have been pretty evenly balanced. Devonport perhaps have got into attacking positions, a few more promising attacking positions than the Olympia Warriors, but for the most part a fairly even game. Throw in for the Olympia Warriors just inside their own half. I can imagine we're going to see Lascano and Jack Ryan wrestling for a bit today. They've already been at it a couple of times, and they're at it again there as Smith intercepts, comes to Sarson. And Mulroney plays forward to the feet there of Joel Stone. He's dropped deep into the midfield from his high attacking position. Sarson battling on the ball there with Mearns. One back by Kurtz, who tries to flick it to a teammate and doesn't. And Joel Stone deep in midfield again. Hingston takes on two, gets the better of Scott and Mearns, and we'll switch the ball now to Eddie Bidwell. Vandermeer will intercept though, and Nkoso, last year's NPL Young Player of the Year, gets it in a nice switch there. Mulroney across well to cut out the forward thrust there from Kurtz, and he comes up the line to Fitzgerald. He's wearing a pretty bright pair of wheels there, and he's back on it again now. He's through one goal. The Devonport Strikers have two at the back post. Can he find one across? Oh, he doesn't get it past Jake Vandermeer, who makes an incredibly important interception. Lascano wins the ball at the top of the 18-yard box, fires it in at McDonald, who has his near post covered. It bounces off his chest and is cleared away. So here's the run forward there. Joel Stone, I think, not deliberately finding its way back there to Fitzgerald, who strides forward and then tries to get it to the back post, where both Syson and Bidwell were waiting and couldn't quite find the pass. So Fitzgerald and Syson there conspire over the ball at this corner for the Devonport Strikers. It's long towards the back post. Todd Hingston rises high and gets ahead. He claims it's come off Hill or someone else, but appeals to no avail and not given. So a replay of the corner here. The ball in, a nice ball in, and Hingston, I'm not sure why he was claiming that was off an Olympia player. It looked pretty clear cut off Hingston's head and just wide of the upright, fortunately for Olympia. As McDonald in goals for Olympia plays out to Paul Stevens, who's long switch, and Olympia quite like that pass, that switch from the centre back to the opposite winger. Ball given away there by Altman. And Kurtz throws back to the mountain Lucas Hill, and there's his switch. So they do like that switch from centre back to the opposite winger. Johnny Ladich wins it down. His first real involvement there, and Koso runs it. Park, he did get the better of Park there, but Lascano was crossed well to cover. And now Eddie Bidwell, it was a terrific season last year for the Devonport Strikers too, tries to use his pace to go past Vandermeer. Stevens is across though, and then Lucas Hill being shut down here, living bravely. Oh, McDonald! Oh dear me. Channeling a bit too much of Allison there, Alison Becker, the Liverpool keeper, who has made a few gaffes in position in goalkeeper, trying to play out from the back, but an incredibly brave turn there as the Devonport Strikers seem to have Olympia shut down, but Todd Hingston shapes and Mearns goes down again. Smith comes over to Fitzgerald, Giampoli finds Stone, and Stone loses out to Hill. Hill comes up the line to Kurtz, back into the chest of Scott. He's pulled down, no free kick, play allowed to go on. Mulroney will retrieve the ball for the Devonport Strikers as they will reload. Hingston dropping deep there with Mulroney in possession at centre back, and he comes through, plays long towards Fitzgerald, and there's a foul, I think a foul on Hingston there in the forward line, in the back line. So here's that piece of play with the Devonport Strikers, Fitzgerald and Stone shutting down Hill, came back to McDonald, and McDonald, a blind turn. Very brave play from the goalkeeper, but he does come with great pedigree, having played over, I believe, in Perth Glory's youth teams and also with the Perth Glory NPL team over there in WA. So has some terrific experience and obviously is highly rated and showed his ability on the ball there. Probably not what a coach or manager likes to see though. Now the other goalkeeper for the Devonport Strikers pitched it on the ball. He comes to Park. Comes inside to Lascano, his second season at the Devonport Strikers. He tries a long switch And he gets it as far as Altman, who comes back to McDonald. Comes long up the line. One down by Smith. Stone back to Hingston. Pushing on to Giampoli, the Devonport strikers. New Argentinian in the attacking midfield position today. Eddie Bidwell and Nkoso, two excellent young players. And Nkoso tries to flick too many and gets some Bronx cheers, I think, there on Nkoso from the Devonport faithful. Eddie Bidwell's touch inside to Giampolo. I believe trialled Ignacio Giampoli at some American clubs in the MLS over there, Major League Soccer, and he's only had a week to kind of acclimatise with his new team since arriving, but has a big role today there in the attacking midfield position in behind Joel Stone. So 15 minutes played here. As Lascano tidies up in the back line, Mulroney peels off and will to pick this one up. Pitchford goes longer towards Smith. Brings it down. Toes it toward Hingston, who slips it through to Fitzgerald, who cuts inside, makes a run. The ball is picked up by Giampoli, who goes to Stone and then back to Fitzgerald and then to Stone, but Stevens across and he puts it out of play, and the Devonport strikers some intricate play there to try and get in behind the Olympia Warriors back four, and nearly came to fruition. The Argentinian comes back to Dom Smith, whose father now president of the Devonport Soccer Club. You can see here the Devonport strikers in possession. They've got playing essentially a back three with Lascano and Hingston pushing up to be two holding midfielders, or two sixes if you like. When in possession, so it's a 3-2-2-3 in possession. Sison pushing forward with Giampoli, and then Stone up front and the two wingers. So a little tactical shift there, a 4-3-3. We're nearly caught in possession there. We're trying to clear Ladich, but 4-3-3 without the ball, the Devonport strikers, then 3-2-2-3 in possession. So I'm interesting to see if Olympia adjust to that, or try to make changes at half-time to counteract that tactical move by Rick Coughlin. Recently saw Manchester City under Pep Guardiola use a similar tactic when they were short a few injured centre-backs. They used Fernandinho as a centre-back, their holding midfielder, and when in possession he moved up to play in that 3-2-2-3. He moved up as an extra six. Which is what Devonport strikers will do here. As you see Lascano, now that he's played the ball, he'll look to move forward. No, not this time. But Mulroney into Giampoli. Comes to Stone, he comes all the way back to Smith. So at the moment, Sison up top. The Devonport strikers rotating a bit here, particularly in the midfield, with that 10 and the 9 position. So Sison up top at the moment. He moves now back into a 10 position, but Eddie Bidwell has it on the right wing. He comes back into Sison, back to Bidwell, and then to Park, who will look to switch the ball through Hingston, who always takes up the perfect position there in midfield, but one back by Ladich, and then to Hill. Now Mearns in a promising position. Finds Kurtz, shields the ball well, and then Altman will come all the way back to McDonald. So no outstanding chances to speak of. The Todd Hingston chance from the corner, perhaps the best of all so far. He headed wide. The ball comes long from Stevens, and Lascano wins it down with a header. As Scott, the Englishman, and the Argentinian Giampoli go together there, and it comes out Devonport strikers' way. And Fitzgerald put through by Joel Stone, just to pass a little heavy. McDonald was alive to the danger and was out quickly off his line to pick that one up, but Some promising attacking play from the Devonport Strikers. And Olympia playing a highish line, and the Devonport Strikers have had a few chances to try and slip balls in behind Olympia on that counter attack when they move it quickly. And Costo now one-on-one with Park. Joffrey and Costo and Connor Park for company. They do a dance and eventually it comes to nothing. Sounds like most of the dances I went to in high school. And then it's been given a goal kick. Hard to discern what happened there, but not too many remonstrations from the Olympia Warriors players, so perhaps it did come off an Olympia play. Yeah, looks like it came off the head of Ryan, the Englishman from Lancashire, I believe. And has been highly touted and highly spoken of, Ryan. So looking to see if he can get in the score sheet today for the Olympia Warriors in what is what they might call an old-fashioned six-pointer, this kind of game. Oh, Stone and Hill clashed together, and you could hear the smack as they came together, and the audience and the crowd gave an audible gasp as they hit each other. Here we go. Thump. Hill and Stone went against each other, and Stone then tried to play the pacey Fitzgerald in behind. Couldn't quite find the killer pass there, though, and the ball allowed to run out by McDonald. Haven't seen too much of Scott the Englishman on the ball yet. The Devonport Strikers seem to be having more of the possession at the moment. So we're about 20 minutes played here now exactly at Valley Road as Eddie Bidwell drives in towards goal, finds Syson who tries to cut it back. The Devonport Strikers again in a good position in the Olympia box. They certainly have seemed to have taken control of this game and seem looking the more threatening of the two sides at the moment. Connor Park with the ball again. In a bit of time he cuts past and Koso Bidwell the wide option. Park looks to fire one in towards the near post, but it's cut out by Ladich and Koso again. And Park. Koso. Hingston battling forward in midfield, and Hingston does a spin and then flicks it away to Syson as Devonport Strikers win possession back again, and they're playing some good football here, the Devonport Strikers, as different wavelengths there. Giampolo, the Italian, and Eddie Bidwell, who keeps the ball in play. Bidwell from Vandermeer. Now Giampolo over there flicks it back in towards Bidwell, and Bidwell with a flick, tripped by Scott, but he gets back to his feet. He's in the 18-yard box, finds Joel Stone, who doesn't mind taking on a player or two or three. He steps over. He's going towards the corner flag now, away from goals. He's got two for company, and then he's fouled quite blatantly by Scott, and the Devonport Strikers in a free kick in a promising position. So here's Joel Stone, a few step overs, and then tries to flick one in between Scott and Mearns, and then Scott does the old I'll turn my back and pretend that I didn't mean to step in his way foul. And Stone takes the invitation to fall over him when he probably could have sidestepped him, and wins a free kick for the Devonport Strikers. So Fitzgerald over this one, and Syson, some tall timber forward for the Devonport Strikers, but some taller timber there for the Warriors. Hill on Vandermeer and Stevens. It's a good match for Hingston and Mulroney and Lascano. Devonport Strikers player there has fallen over in the box just as the free kick was about to be taken. Not sure there was much in it, but it's taken a bit of time to recover what's happened here. Official finds his way into a good position. And the ball comes over from Fitzgerald towards the near post. It seems a plan there for the Strikers. And Fitzgerald goes over under the challenge of Nkoso. Nothing doing there, though, with the referee. Syson plays it in low, but it's cleared away by Stevens up the line. And the Devonport Strikers will look to reload again. Yeah, been a little while since Olympia have got out of their half with possession. Devonport Strikers on top in play at the moment. Mulroney drives forward, allowed to carry the ball forward as Olympia set up their wall, make the Devonport Strikers play through them. Stone and Ignacio Giampoli combining well there to put in Bidwell on the wing. He's cut back, finds Miss Stevens, and it's put behind, and the Devonport Strikers again will have a free kick. So a good bit of play here. Giampoli found Stone, who then made the splitting pass between centre back and full back to Bidwell. And the pass back, I think, was put out by the Englishman Scott in the end. And Devonport Strikers on top here of Valley Road in this round 2 fixture. And the ball forward, caught by McDonald, who's certainly been the busier of the two keepers. Hingston bumps into him, makes him earn his catch from the corner there. He rolls it out to Hill. So Kurtz will come into Ladich. So it's Ortman, and out of Kurtz. Back to Ortman on that right wing. Play forward, but Mulroney heads down to Stone, who is unceremoniously tripped. I reckon there's a booking on the way here for Lucas Hill. So the thumping header from Mulroney, and Stone got the better there of his opposite number, and then just flicked it past Hill, and probably saw the challenge coming and rode the challenge. But regardless, it's a clear yellow card, a slice of cheese, as it were. It's the first slice of cheese in this fixture to Lucas Hill of the Olympia Warriors, and he'll have to battle out another 70 or so minutes with that yellow card to his name, and the likes of Stone and Giampoli and Fitzgerald running at him. A good challenge for the tall centre back. Mulroney to Lascano. Lascano steps into midfield, finds Hingston. Hingston on the left foot tries to thread it through to Sarson, who's playing up highest of all for the Strikers there. Smith to Hingston. Fitzgerald making the run, lifted over by Hingston. And Fitzgerald and Ortman wrestling there. Fitzgerald tries to flick it around and behind and spin around himself, but couldn't quite get back to it. And it's going to be a goal kick for the Olympia Warriors. So here's that little flick there from Fitzgerald. Didn't quite come off and stay in play, and he was probably held up a little bit by Ortman, but it's a goal kick. Long ball comes forward. Hingston wins the header on his own. Now Olympia players jumping with him, and it's put out by Ortman, and Stone takes the quick free kick down to the feet of Fitzgerald. An awkward throw, but Fitzgerald did well. Stone, however, puts it out of play. So for Olympia, take a quick. Lucas Hill to the keeper, and Kosso is on here. If there's a quick switch, they move the ball slowly, allows Park to come over and block out the option to him. And Kosso, but Joffrey comes to feet to Vandermeer, all the way back to Stevens, and Stevens to Vandermeer. The Devonport Strikers squeezing well here. They'll force a longish ball up towards Ryan, who spins in behind Mulroney and plays it off the back of his neck, but Mulroney, the Devonport Strikers captain, responds well, and Park flicks it towards Bidwell. Ball hasn't gone out. Syson plays it over the top. Bidwell hasn't made the run on different wavelengths there. Bidwell and Syson, the Englishman, playing another season here for the Devonport Strikers after having spent a season at Launceston City. In fact, having been the captain at Launceston City last year. A Launceston City team that made a promising start to the season but fell away in the second half of the year. So it looked like some kids out the back had kicked a ball onto the pitch. Referee not stopping play. And Joel Stone thumps it away back onto the back pitches. Jack Ryan attempts a flick as he and Lascano battle for the ball. Hingston, who's been excellent in midfield for Devonport, wins it down, and the ball comes all the way over to Fitzgerald. Making his NPL debut for the Devonport Strikers, as is Giampoli, the Argentinian. He makes a nice little darting run and finds Stone. Syson again high and central for the Devonport strikers here. In fact, I think Syson in his first season here at Devonport did play as a number 9 before being transformed into a holding midfielder the following season. And Costa will now have the ball and whoever chance in midfield here to turn. He hands it off to Ladich and the Syson wins it, and Ladich hasn't seen as much of it as he'd probably like to so far today. And the same can be said of Scott, as the Olympia Warriors getting a bit frustrated. Throw-in comes to Syson, his touch poor, and Scott dumps that one as the crowd get a touch. Connor Park has come across to Devonport from Burnie, will take the throw-in. Throw-in to the feet of Syson. He's got Vandermeer for company. Vandermeer does well. Scott now on it, and he'll play it back to McDonald. McDonald's had plenty of touches today. He might have had more touches than Jack Ryan up front for Olympia, which I think speaks volumes about the way the game is starting to play out. Buckhurst does well there to make it difficult for the Devonport strikers when he was a couple down, but Giampoli first to the ball here. The Argentinian finds Dom Smith, who's robbed of it by Kirsten Mearns, but the ball spills now to Lascano, who makes a forward one. Syson spins and turns and clips it towards Bidwell, who's got Vandermeer for company, who heads down. He's going to put it out for throw-in. Throw-in in a very attacking position for the strikers, and replay here of the coming together. The ball won there by Olympia, and then Smith flying in studs in on Mearns there, wins the ball, but probably took the play too. A 50-50 call there for the official on whether it's a free kick or not. Syson has it, flicks it back to Park, who throws it to Giampoli, who has Ladich for company. Tidy little player, Giampoli, so far. Hasn't made any decisive run or pass or shot yet in his debut for the Devonport strikers, but he'll certainly be looking to do so. Syson to Park, to Bidwell. A nice turn on Vandermeer. Doesn't find Giampoli. Ooh, a studs in there from Ryan, who wins it from Hingston, and the Olympia Warriors with a chance to counter now. Kurtz tries to play it long, but one back by Fitzgerald as the Devonport strikers fans appreciate his work. Giampoli back to Fitzgerald into the box towards Bidwell, who heads up in the air. And Atwell to claim, and now a chance for Joffrey and Corso to run at Park. Goes at him with pace and cuts inside. Stone tracking back. Hingston is nutmegged by Nkosa, not deliberately, but Hingston made an awkward tackle, and the good ball through to Ryan as Olympia find themselves in an attacking position for the first time in some time. And Corso then swings it into the box towards Kurtz, but it's won back by Devonport now. Fitzgerald beaten by his 2 Olympia opponents, and the ball bounces around a bit in midfield. Olympia eventually arrests possession. Scott comes back to Hill, and they restart play. Asking a bit of Incoso there, but he does well to head it down towards Vandermeer. He's being shut down by Bidwell. Never stops running, Bidwell. An excellent athlete. Kieran Mulroney, the Devonport strikers captain, is up and heads well. Okay, it's a good ball in. Ryan is up. I think he got between 2 Devonport players and won the header there. Competed excellently for the ball. It was always going to be difficult given the angle and the direction he was flying in the air to get it goalwards, and in the end he could only manage to head it wide, but a promising sign for Olympia that they were able to get the ball forward, and to Ryan that he was able to get in between the 2 Devonport strikers defenders and win that header. But moments for Ryan have been a few and far between early on today. Park to Mulroney. Lascano in midfield. Shanghai to add that extra option. Lascano comes back to Hingston, who finds a good pass to Stone, who plays an ambitious ball towards Bidwell, which doesn't quite get there. The idea was right, the execution not quite. Here's Stone on the turn in midfield. Tries to slide it in between centre-back and full-back, which are the balls the wingers love, cutting in. It's the ball that Pep Guardiola loves at Man City. I think David Silva and Kevin De Bruyne and others playing balls in behind, but Sterling and Sano always in behind the full-backs. Rod Andrews dwelling on the microphone, the ground microphone here at Valley Road again there. A free kick given to John Ladich, scorer of an excellent goal last week in South Hobart. And it looks like Olympia are going to put a long ball into the box here. The Englishman Scott comes long towards the back post towards Hill. And Vandermeer cleared away by Hingston, be a throw in for the Olympia Warriors. So we are over half an hour played here. Despite the attacking promise of Devonport, no real clear-cut chances created. And as such, we remain at 0-0. Mulroney comes over to clear, puts it out of play, and the Olympia Warriors have a throw in again, enjoying a spell in their attacking half. Throw into the feet of Ryan, who wrestles with Mulroney. Lascano, the Spanishman, wins out his English teammate. And there's a handball there, yes. Lascano remonstrates, but I think you'll find his hand wasn't in the natural silhouette, as they say, or whatever that handball rule is in this day and age. FIFA officials recently met to discuss 3 Devonport players to jump in the way of Scott to play it quickly. They did meet recently to discuss the handball rule, and I think it's going to become stricter, in fact, the handball rule in our beautiful game. So the ball off Lascano's arm there, it looks like, his raised left arm, and then he remonstrates with the official, but you can see quite clearly there of his arm, and a good attacking opportunity here for the Olympia Warriors. Scott stands over the ball. 25 yards or further. Not a bad position for a free kick, actually. Can he get it up and over the wall? He does! Oh, a dipping free kick over the wall. Couldn't quite get it up and down, though. Distance good here. Good chance to get it up and down, but just not quite enough work on it once it got over the wall to bring it back down. And Pitchford was glad to see that sail wide of his goal. And Olympia passed up an opportunity there to take the lead in this fixture. Ball long forward. Bidwell looks to flick on. Ladich all the way back to the keeper, McDonald, who finds Hill, who goes for that switch which Olympia love from centre back to winger. Long diagonal ball. Bidwell and Joffrey and Kosa wrestle for it, and the Devonport youngster gets the better of his Olympia opposite there. Lascano comes forward to the feet of Stone, who bounces into Ladich. A free kick possibly there, but official will say it was side on side. Jack Ryan wrestles with Mulroney. Mulroney gets his head to it, but Ryan gets to the ball, but Mulroney recovers and pokes it away. Now with Mearns, who turns Hingston. And Costa needs to provide some width or a run. Doesn't, and instead will lay it back. Hingston and Bidwell try to win it back. Bidwell continue to run and chase, and Stevens will look to switch here. No. Turns back to where the ball has come from. Now we switch out. No. He comes over to Vandermeer. Go the way back to McDonald. Olympia have wrestled their way back into this game in the last 5-10 minutes. Hill, a good ball into the feet of Kurtz, who gives it away though with a bit of a sloppy flick really, and comes to Fitzgerald, who's been quiet the last 5 or 10, but here's a chance to run now. Giampoli hacked down by Scott and does get a free kick. There's Fitzgerald, and then tackle from behind there, scraping the back of the ankles. Did Scott, and the free kick rightly given. Devonport come forward, Fitzgerald on Hill. Fitzgerald wrestling with Hill. Can he get round him? As they tangle in the shadow of the corner flag. Fitzgerald wins out. He runs away. He's grabbed. No free kick given. He looked like he was grabbed by Altman there perhaps, but Devonport strikers switch the ball out, and then Hingston not quite finding the pass. So here's Fitzgerald there, grabbed as it looked like Baldwin is ran past. Devonport retained possession, so maybe there was advantage played by the official. A few minutes now from the half. Can we see a goal here in this final 5 minutes of this half? And Koso and Lascano come together. Official allows play to go on. Won by Stevens. Olympia with a chance to counter-attack. And of course, has got the wrong side of Park here. Well, the right side, in fact, for him. But Mulroney across well and tackles. The officials give a goal kick. So they're coming together there between Mulroney and Nkoso, and the ball bounced off. The officials say Nkoso last, and Brenton Copper there making a decision. A man in the middle. Smith to Hingston, to Mulroney, to Park, and Devonport will look to play out. Lascano's moved up into the midfield there to make it the back three, and the midfield two holding and two attacking midfielders, so a square in midfield for the strikers. Bidwell wins. Giampoli tries a quick flick to Syson, which doesn't quite come off, and Olympia will get the ball back. A throw from Vandermeer back to Stevens. Stevens to McDonald, back to Stevens. An audible piece of language there, I think, from Stevens. Once upon a time, that would have got you in a bit of trouble with the officials, but Devonport strikes with a good chance here as Bidwell won the ball from Vandermeer. Bidwell goes at Stevens, and Stevens makes an excellent recovery tackle to force the marauding Bidwell wide, and then for a corner. So Bidwell winning the ball there from Vandermeer, runs at Stevens, who gets across well and makes a good challenge. Has to get that one right, otherwise Bidwell's goes down, and there's a penalty. The Devonport strikers another corner. They take it quickly. Fitzgerald here cuts at the top of the box. Giampoli shoots low. Not really enough venom on it to challenge McDonald in goals, and McDonald was able to save easily. So the quick corner taken, you can see here, and Giampoli takes one touch and tries to strike, but didn't get much behind it, and the ball fell harmlessly in front of McDonald, who was able to save easily. Scott in midfield tries to find Ladich, but it comes to Smith. Devonport reload. Time ticking away here. Still no goals here at Valley Road. But a chance here. Fitzgerald, the flag is down from Charlie Bella on this far side. Fitzgerald's in a good position. He plays it across. Not perhaps convincingly cleared from Vandermeer, but it will do. Devonport got into an excellent position there with men in the box. The ball through here from Stone finds Fitzgerald the wrong side of Ortman. Fitzgerald then fires across the box. Couldn't find Giampoli or Bidwell, who was arriving at the back post, and the strikers have taken it quickly. Stone falls over it, and the flag is raised by Charlie Vella on the far side. I'm not sure for what, because it's down now, but Scott just puts it into the bleachers, and then both strikers will have it back. So here's the ball again through here that found Fitzgerald. So we come back to live play now though. Stone on the right wing tries to slip it through to Syson, but Vandermeer clears up the middle towards no one in particular, and Hingston will win that for the Devonport strikers. Down to Fitzgerald, the young gun. Can't quite get past his opposite number, and McDonald clears. Park on the ball, throws it towards Lascano, who gives it away, and a good chance for the Warriors here. Ryan makes a great run forward, but Mearns couldn't find him. Just needed to use it a bit earlier, but not in the same wavelength there, Ryan and Mearns. And Lascano theatrically dives over the top of Mearns, and is going to get a yellow card for diving. So Lascano is going to go in the book for diving. For simulation. I think that might be the first time I've ever seen that in Tasmanian football. A card for simulation. The tackle from Ladich. Stone remonstrating with the official. Lascano goes into the book. The second player to receive a slice of cheese today. Olympia with another set piece opportunity. Olympia with a chance here. Scott to put it in again. He's put some good balls in. Hingston misses it, and Olympia with a chance, not convincingly cleared by the strikers, and it will be a corner ball. Hingston missed the clearance there, and for a moment it looked like Olympia might have a chance to get a strike towards goal. So there must be some argy-bargy that Bretton Copra, the match day official's gone over there to sort out. I believe we have Tom Mason and Charlie Vella, the two linesmen today. Ball comes over from Scott. Another decent looking ball in. Park flicks over. Lascano heads clear. Comes to Ladich at the top of the box. He plays it back in. Park clears, and a volley down from Kurtz goes harmlessly wide in the end. Couldn't repeat the magic of Ladich in a similar position last week for the Olympia Warriors. Ladich making the switch from Glenorchy this season to Olympia. I believe played with South Hobart previously in another day and age as well. Both squads changed much from last season. Up goes Bidwell. Wins forward. Stone looks to now shut down McDonald. As he presses, the ball comes long up towards Smith. Heads up and away. Hingston heads down. Smith finds Stone, who's done well to drop in and pick up the ball deep. As a midfielder, he naturally likes to come from that attacking position into the space in between the lines and pick up the balls. He steps over the ball, gets past Ortman and gets to the back post to Bidwell. What can Bidwell do on the left foot? He strikes. Well blocked by Stevens, and it's going to go out for a corner ball. Bidwell looked like he was about to strike the ball there, get a clean shot on McDonald's goal. He shimmied, lost Vandermeer, but Stevens was across well to cover and saw it out for a corner. Daniel Syson, the Englishman, to whip this one in for the Devonport Strikers. As we're in the last moments here of this first half at Valley Road, it's still 0-0. Cleared away. Giampoli flicks it in towards Lascano, but he can't make much of it as Olympia look to counter-attack. Bidwell heads down to himself. Comes to the feet of Stone. Has Ryan for company. Back to Park. Devonport captain Mulroney over to the younger Smith. Smith back to Syson, who has the chance to turn and run at the Olympia Warriors. Finds Fitzgerald. Comes back to Smith. Syson cuts inside. Has Kurtz for company, and Kurtz wins it off him, and Olympia Warriors a late chance to attack here. And Kosso runs forward. He's got three Devonport players from company. He looks to play to Kurtz, and the wing he crosses towards the back post towards Ryan. It's not an excellent cross, and Lascano will clear. Bidwell now have a chance to turn and run at Vandermeer. He does, touches it around him. He's got 2 or 3 to beat though. He's got Ryan for company, Bidwell. Comes back into Ignacio Giampoli, who lays it to Bidwell, Stevens across though, and cool, calm, collected does the business. But Ryan caught on the ball and then manages to recover and poke it away. But Devonport won't have the chance to return the ball back into players. Brenton Copper blows the half-time whistle. And what has been a reasonably uneventful first half here, a slice of cheese to Guillermo Lascano for simulation. The height of interest perhaps. A few half chances here and there for both sides really, but for a boxing match you might say Devonport slightly ahead on points, but fortunately that's not how we officiate our games or score our games. So it remains 0-0 here at Valley Road. So we take 15 minutes to repair. The coaches will now earn their dollars as they do at half time. Make any changes necessary, tactical switches, and send both teams back out. Rick Coughlin, his first chance to speak to his new charges at halftime, as Devonport set up for a shootout challenge here for the kids. A great initiative by TPS. 0-0 at halftime. We'll see you for the second half. Really caught in possession, Hingston, and he lays back to Smith. And we have an early injury here potentially to Nick Murn. Stone running out. Van der May goes past. The flag will go up from Charlie Bella on the line, and Devonport Strikers will have a free kick in a very promising. So wearing a pretty bright pair of wheels there, and he's back on it again now. He's through one goal. The Devonport Strikers are 2 at the back post. Can he find one across? Oh, he doesn't get it past Jake Van der May. Fitzgerald and Syson there conspire over the ball at this corner for the Devonport Strikers. It's long towards the back post. Todd Hingston rises high and gets ahead. He claims it's come past Van der May. Stevens is across though, and then the Lucas Hill being shut down here. Living bravely. Oh, McDonald. Oh, dear me. Scott, the Englishman, and the Argentinian, Giampaoli, go together there, and it comes out Devonport Strikers' way. And Fitzgerald put through by Joel Stone, just to pass a little heavy. McDonald was alive to the danger and was out quickly off his line to pick that one. Eventually, it comes to nothing. Sounds like most of the dances I went to in high school, and then it's been given a goal kind of game. Oh, Stone and Hill clashed together, and you could hear the smack as they came together. Also, Hingston battling forward in midfield, and Hingston does a spin and then steps over. He's going towards the corner flag now, away from goals. He's got 2 for company, and then he's fouled quite blatantly by Scott. Set up their wall, make the Devonport Strikers play through them. Stone and Ignacio Giampaoli combining well there to put in Bidwell on the wing. He's cut back, finds Miss Stevens, and it's put right wing. Play forward, but Mulroney heads down to Stone, who is unceremoniously tripped. I reckon there's a booking on the way here. And Fitzgerald and Ortman wrestling there. Fitzgerald tries to flick it around and behind and spin around himself, but couldn't quite get back to it. And it's going to be a goal kick for the Olympia Warriors. Back to Stevens, and Stevens to Van der May, the Devonport Strikers squeezing well here. They force a longish ball up towards Ryan, who spins in behind Mulroney and plays it off the back of his neck. But Mulroney, the Devonport Strikers captain, responds well, and Park flicks it towards Bidwell. Throw-in comes to Syson. His touch poor, and Scott dumps that one as the crowd get a touch. The Argentinian finds Tom Smith, who's robbed of it by Curtis Mearns, but the ball spills long, but one back by Fitzgerald as the Devonport Strikers fans appreciate his work. Giampaoli back to Fitzgerald into the box towards Bidwell, who heads up in the air. And Atwell to claim, and now a chance for Joffrey and Coso to run at Park. Goes at him with pace and cuts inside. Stone tracking back. Hingston is nutmegged by Nkoso, not deliberately, but Hingston made an awkward tackle, and the good ball through to Ryan as Olympia find themselves in attacking position. Kieran Mulroney, the Devonport Strikers captain, is up and heads well. Okay, it's a good ball in. Ryan is up. I think he got between 2 Devonport players. Who finds a good pass to Stone, who Plays an ambitious ball towards Bidwell, which doesn't quite get there. Rainey comes over to clear, puts it out of play, and the Olympia Warriors have Lascano, the Spanishman, wins out his English teammate. And there's a handball there, yes. Not a bad position for a free kick, actually. Can he get it over up and over the wall? He does! Oh, a dipping floppy flick, really, and comes to Fitzgerald, who's been quiet the last 5 or 10, but here's a chance to run now. Giampoli hacked down by Scott. And the corner flag. Fitzgerald wins out. He runs away. He's grabbed. No free kick given. He looked like he was grabbed by Ortman there, perhaps, but Devonport strikers see a goal here in this final 5 minutes of this half. And Cosso and Lascano come together. Well, piece of language there, I think, from Stevens. Once upon a time, that would have got you in a bit of trouble with the officials, but Devonport strikers with a good chance here as Bidwell won the ball from Vandermeer. Bidwell goes at Stevens, and Stevens makes an excellent recovery tackle to Gerald here. Cuts at the top of the box. Giampoli shoots low. Not really enough venom on it to challenge McDonald away here. Still no goals here at Valley Road. But a chance here. Fitzgerald, the flag is down from Charlie Bella on this far side. Fitzgerald's in a good position. He plays it across. Not perhaps convincingly cleared from Vandermeer, but it will do. Park and the ball throws it towards Lascano, who gives it away, and a good chance for the Warriors here. Ryan makes a great run forward, but Mearns couldn't find. Not in the same wavelength there, Ryan and Mearns, and Lascano theatrically dives over the top of Olympia with a chance here. Scott to put in again. He's put some good balls in. Hingston misses it, and Olympia with a chance, not convincingly cleared by the strikers, and it will be a corner ball. Hingston missed the clearance past Ortman and gets to the back post to Bidwell. What can Bidwell do on the left foot? He strikes. Well blocked by Stevens, and it's going to go out for a corner ball. Kurtz for company, and Kurtz wins it off him, and Olympia Warriors a late chance to attack here. And Costo runs forward. He's got 3 Devonport players from company. He looks to play to Kurtz, and then when he crosses towards the back post towards Ryan, it's not an excellent cross, and Lascano will clear. Bidwell.
It'd be nice to have it now.
congratulations to Josh Littler. Josh Littler, the first winner of the Total Performance Sports half-time penalty shootout. And true to our word, Josh received a $50 voucher from Total Performance Sports. So congratulations, Josh. Give him a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Great game we're watching here, guys. 0-0 at half-time. Let's hope the Strikers can get up in the second half and knock a couple of goals in front of this great crowd. Thanks again to Total Performance Sports, great sponsor and great concept, the half-time penalty shootout.
So we're back live here for the second half at Valley Road. This round 2 NPL clash between the Devonport Strikers and the Olympia Warriors. So there has been a switch at halftime as I compete with Rod Andrews on the ground microphone.
Turning the computer off and turning it back on again. You're all at half time. Let's go, strikers.
There is a change for the Olympia Warriors. Curtis on and Mearns off. So I'm not sure whether it was a forced change or just a tactical switch for the Olympia Warriors, but there has been a change, and Curtis will play in midfield alongside Scott and Ladich. Devonport Strikers unchanged. Having said that, though, in terms of the 11 unchanged, but Bidwell's lining up on the left wing now, having started the game on the right, and Fitzgerald. So anyway, so Bidwell tries to find Stone and only gets it to Scott. Scott comes forward towards Nkoso and it bounces off Mulroney, and he will clear up the line. Finds Jumpoli, who tries to go past Scott. Scott's strong and shields the ball, but one back by the new man on the field, Curtis. He comes all the way to Ryan, who flicks back towards Curtis. Mulroney does well. Olympia dangerous here. Comes out to Ryan on the left wing. He's got Park for company. A big, strong lad. A good ball in. Oh, and Ladish puts the back of his head to it instead of the front of it, and it goes out for a goal kick. But a terrific ball in from Jack Ryan from the left wing. Rolled off Park there and then flung the ball in towards the near post, and Ladish couldn't quite time his header, and in fact mistimed it. And Nathan Pitchford wasn't put to work on that occasion, and the Devonport Strikers play out from the back here through Mulroney. Smith. Inside to Hingston, comes to Stone's feet. Scott wins it from behind Stone, and then Olympia played up the line, but it only is out for another goal kick for the Devonport Strikers. So it does look as if Fitzgerald and Bidwell have switched wings here at half time. So tactical switch for the Devonport Strikers in that regard, and the substitution for the Olympia, the two changes at the half that we can discern at this point. Scott over the ball to go long into the box. Look for Ryan to get onto the end of this. Been impressed with his work. Instead it is Parker heads towards his own goal. It's out for a corner ball. Chance for Olympia to whip another one from a more dangerous angle this time. Scott's ball into the box here. Flicked away by Park. And Pitchford left to watch it go over. As someone retrieves the ball, and Scott will go over and take yet another dead ball free kick for the Olympia Warriors. Scott raises both arms in the air and swings it in towards the front post. Cleared away by Park, comes to the top of the box and is fired in, but is blocked by Fitzgerald, and he's probably handled the ball. Fitzgerald's touch is heavy, he's in on goal, Stone with him. Fitzgerald's touch is taken in wide, and that's excellent. Excellent tracking back from Orman, but the ball fired in there and then flicked over the top by Stone towards Fitzgerald, who was in on goal. His touch there was heavy, which took him both away from goal. Could have played it to Stone there, but didn't, and then Orman was back well to win the ball. Slow play down, and eventually Fitzgerald impeded Orman. And Olympia won the free kick. So Olympia escaped that one, but Devonport perhaps fortunate to race forward there anyway, when potentially the ball had bounced off Fitzgerald's arm from the strike from Kurtz. But Devonport Strikers forward again now. Joel Stone. Goal kick. Yes, you can see quite clearly on the replay there as Devonport raced away. It would have been controversial had they scored, and might have been ruled out by VAR if such a system were in place in Tasmanian soccer, as it clearly came off Fitzgerald's arm from the Kurt strike towards goal, and it was from that Devonport exploded forward. VAR being the video assistant referee, the system in place in international football and to be installed in the English Premier League next season and in most other major leagues across the European continent at the moment. Ball in from Park to Fitzgerald. And put out a play by Park, and the Olympia Warriors have a throw. Park heads away, heads down. Ladich on the ball. He tried to play it back, but he just got it wrong and put the ball out of play. And Park down to Stone. Brings it down with the outside of his foot. Comes back to Park, who tries to roll it back, but Nkoso wins it off him and then goes past Park. Joffrey uses his pace to go past Lascano, but Lascano does excellently to recover. Slide tackle and then bounces back up on his feet to win the ball. And then plays it to the feet of Daniel Sison. Comes wide to Stone, who has a chance to run there at Ryan. It goes past Ryan, but Ryan does well, uses his strength to win the ball back, and then to Ladich, to Scott. Ladich tackled by Sison, gives it up to Stone. They stand off Stone, wary of his ability on the ball, but an excellent tackle from Van der May stops Stone's thrust forward. Here's Park trying to pull the ball back. He's robbed by Nkoso. And Nkoso goes past him, and here's Lascano tracking him. It looks like Nkoso's past him, but then a sliding tackle from Lascano in recovery as we're back live. Fitzgerald with the ball. And now it's a good run, cutting in field and then striking on the left. Hit it hard and looked like it was destined to fly and nestle inside that far post, but flashed wide in the end. McDonald. Dive, didn't get to the ball, but didn't need to as it was wide of the post. A warning for Olympia there, not to let Fitzgerald cut inside. Capable of producing in those positions. Stevens, Ladich, Hill. Van der May higher up the flank than we've seen him there. Bundled over by Fitzgerald. The youngster who followed Rick Coghlan, the Devonport coach, down from the Gold Coast. Ball fired in long from Lucas Hill. Comes now to Joel Stone. Tackled excellently by Hill. Joel Stone goes down in pain, but bounces back up. Van der May looks forward for Ryan. Nothing doing there though. The pressure's on here. Dom Smith put under pressure buckets. He finds Bidwell. He touches around Ortman and finds Ignacio Giampoli. Stone with time to turn and finds Bidwell. An excellent pass, perfectly weighted. Bidwell cuts it to Sison, who cuts past and scores for the Devonport Strikers. They take the lead. Daniel Sison returning home after a season away at Lonnie City finds himself back in love with the fans here at Valley Road, and they cheer and yell for him as he puts the Devonport Strikers 1-0 ahead here in the second half. An excellent bit of play from the Devonport Strikers, playing out from the back. Stone slipping Bidwell in behind. Bidwell cut it back to Sison, who was patient to just roll it past the sliding Van der May, and then had all the time in the world to pick a spot. And McDonald was never going to get a hand to that as Daniel Sison put the Devonport Strikers ahead. And now it's uphill from here for Olympia, away from home to the champion Devonport Strikers team. So all for Olympia to do here. Can they respond? Scott fires in. Is there an immediate response? Oh, there nearly was. An excellent ball in from Scott. And this game has come to life after pretty dour 50 minutes, to be honest. The excellent ball in from Scott. And I thought Ryan had got the wrong side of Smith, was going to tuck that one into the back of the net. And Bidwell rises high. Lucas Hill plays it forward. Joel Stone weaving some magic, tackled by Hill. Joel again stepping past a couple. Lucas Hill flying in on Bidwell there, and Bidwell hurt from that one. Bounces back up. Lucas Hill flies in there, and I tell you, he might be a bit of a lucky boy there, Lucas Hill, not... Scott clears. Ferocious tackle there from Lucas Hill. He might have just got the ball, which might have seen him escape a second booking there, Hill, but Devonport strike is back underway here. Park. Fitzgerald, Hingston. Smith. Stone, who has been excellent today. Bidwell, Stone. An Olympia throw in, Altman to take. Hill looks long up towards Ryan. The Englishman. You would have suggested Englishman scored today. Most would have thought it'd be Jack Ryan, but the Englishman on the score sheet today is Daniel Sison of the Devonport Strikers. Stone's touch is bad. Scott goes down, wins a free kick. It's a little clip forward there from Hingston. Stone tries it off his thigh and then just pokes the toe out and trips Scott over, and Olympia restart play, and it is 1-0 to the Devonport Strikers. Devonport Strikers fans would suggest that they were worthy of their lead. Fitzgerald now squeezing. Oh, I tell you, there's... Oh! Fitzgerald pressured Stevens and then McDonald, and that ball could have deflected anywhere here, so Hill switches the ball there. Fitzgerald alive to the switch, pressured Stevens, then pressured McDonald, but the ricochet, fortunately for Olympia Warriors faithful, didn't end up nestling in the back of the net. Long forward, Daniel Sison up. Ignacio Giampoli heads down to Fitzgerald, then Stone. Scott. Stone goes down in a screaming heap. I'm not sure there was any foul committed there, though. Nkoso. Back to Vandermeer. He looks longer forward. Oh, Morani and Lascano clatter into each other as they clear the ball. Ladich on it. Tries to play in Altman, but Bidwell spins and plays it out. So Bidwell with an assist to his name for Sison's goal, as Olympia will make a second substitution here. It is Altman who will come off, the right back for the Olympia Warriors. An interesting substitution. Perhaps he's taking off the right back to go to a back three. Play more men forward. We'll see. But not necessarily maybe it's a forced substitution, but not necessarily an attacking one. We'll see if it changes shape. Olympia Warriors change shape at all, but So Jake Thompson looks like he's come on to right wing there in place of Ortman. So that means the Kurtz has gone back to left back as they're in a good position here. The Olympia Warriors. Thompson making an early influence, playing that ball in behind. So Kurtz looks like he's gone into a fullback position to switch to allow Thompson to come forward, and Kurtz gets a gift for returning to going back to the fullback position. A yellow card for a sliding challenge there on Ignacio Giampoli, the Devonport Strikers' newest player, hailing from Argentina. Devonport Strikers with nearly a full strength squad today, only minus FFA Cup hero Miles Barnard, who I believe still has cricketing commitments to see with Devonport or the Northwest team. Pitcher doesn't quite get hold of that free kick, and Olympia clear. Lascano tries to head it towards Sison, doesn't quite get it right. Mulroney heads down, pinched away by Olympia, and Scott now looks to launch it in behind for Ryan. Ryan in a good position, but Pitchford was again alive to the danger and away well. Ignacio Giampoli, a chance to turn. He turns and runs. Has Thompson for company now. I could be completely wrong here, but I think Thompson might be an Englishman as well. No, I am completely wrong. New South Wales. I knew he wasn't from Tasmania. Maybe with Olympia Warriors throw. McDonald to Stevens. Koso. Scott battles with Giampoli, and Olympia retain possession. Park in there with studs up on Vandermeer, but no free kick given. Lascano with the ball now. Devonport Spaniard player Todd Hingston dropping deep in midfield to pick the ball up, and then switches the ball. Barely lays a pass wrong, does Todd Hingston. And he Bidwell, a nice idea to flick it past the defender then Kurtz, but didn't get it right. Jack Ryan outnumbered by the Devonport Strikers. He bounces into Sison, and Sison remonstrates. So Ryan looks to turn Mulroney, but Sison intercepts, and then Ryan, a little frustrated, pushes Sison after the ball is gone. Strikers captain Kieran Mulroney standing over this free kick. That's kind of moving into a midfield position, and Park carries forward. See Rick Coughlin prowling the sidelines. The Devonport Strikers coach comes to Sison, then back to Park. Park goes round, and Koso finds Bidwell, drops it to Stone, back to Bidwell. Bidwell doesn't fire the cross in, instead comes all the way back out to Sison. Though probably need to switch play here, try and open up some space, and they will. Through Park, and then Lascano, who's going to look for a big switch to Fitzgerald. No, comes to the feet of Bidwell instead. He flicks it nicely around Stevens, and then to Stone. Devonport Strikers in a good position. Joel Stone goes forward, shoots, and a very, very good save low down to his left there by McDonald. Joel Stone seemed to walk too easily past the defenders there. Some good play from the Devonport Strikers. Bidwell, a lovely touch around Stevens, and then to Stone, who drove past the Olympia Warriors defenders, and then using his left foot, a quick reaction save from McDonald. The Stone probably didn't quite hit that strike on goal, perhaps where he wanted to. Free kick is very high from Fitzgerald. Cleared away. Falls to Thompson, who can now counter-attack for the Olympia Warriors. Plays it forward to Lucas Hill, who's the furthest forward for the Olympia Warriors, but Joel Stone is tripped by Hill. The Olympia Warriors captain. Oh, Hingston, after I talked to him before now about not mislaying a pass, mislaid one there. Now Smith goes forward, finds Joel Stone, who just seems to wander around wherever he likes, picking up the ball, left wing, right wing. Maybe that's what Rick Coghlan's told him. Do whatever you like. Giampoli now has a chance. He spins, loses a couple. Can he fire on goal? He finds Syson instead. He fires well over the top. Poked at that one, Syson, perhaps instead of striking through. A bit of nice work here from Giampoli. He lost Curtis, and then lost Thompson, and then laid it to Syson, and then the strike over the top of my back live. Kurt's long up the line to nobody in particular, and Mulroney will retrieve. He's got Ryan for company now. Mulroney only clears as far as Ladich, who has Scott inside. Uses him, and Scott will then switch it. It's a nice ball out to Joffrey and Koso, who has Park for company. Step over. Cuts back on his right. Doesn't deliver the ball in. Curtis keeps the ball. Vandermeer and Koso now cuts inside again. Scott. Eventually they get themselves into trouble, Olympia, and Park clears up the line. Stevens touches heavy, but he wins it back. Scott, a growing influence in the game. Comes back in Koso. Scott again. Bidwell late on Scott, and the official blows his whistle. As we near the midway point of this second half, Devonport strikers yet to use a substitution. Brody Dennehy sits on the Devonport strikers substitution bench. A prolific goal scorer in seasons past. Went to football for a year or two, and now... Oh, what a strike from Jono Ladich. Nearly repeating the dose from last week, as the long ball forward from Olympia was headed clear, and then Ladich, with a very good technique, fired it back towards goal. It was straight at Pitchford, but even if he had struck it into the top corner, it wouldn't have mattered because the whistle had blown for a free kick for the Devonport strikers for a foul on Lascano, who makes his way back to his feet. I think he's been told to go off for the blood rule, perhaps. And Devonport will scramble on their bench to... I know, I made that up. Saw Brenton Copper pointing to the bench. And I thought that's perhaps what it was, but it's not. Pitchford goes long forward. I know they're giving the ball back to Olympia. And a show of good sportsmanship. Stevens and Koso. Ladich. Oh, I took out the pitching wedge on that one, Ladich, and oh! So Ladich chipped that one a bit high, which allowed Fitzgerald to come across and play the ball. And then they just... an incidental clash between the two, I think. Kurtz and Fitzgerald, and play allowed to go on. Slicing that one a little bit, and now the Devonport strikers have the ball again. Hingston really hurried on the ball, Todd Hingston. Lascano. Bidwell, who's obviously now switched wings again with Fitzgerald. Stone trying to switch the ball to Fitzgerald. Toe forward by Syson towards Fitzgerald, but cut out by the Warriors, and Lucas Hill again advancing into the past the back line at the moment. Lucas Hill, Hingston, Giampoli, Ladich, Thompson, Syson, and towed forward and cleared eventually from the chaos. And then there was order. Mulroney, Hingston, Stone, Giampoli. Finds Fitzgerald with the reverse pass. The flag goes up. The ball doesn't end up in the back of the net anyway from Fitzgerald. The flag was up from Thomas May, so I'm not entirely sure whether that was offside. Let's see if we can get a clear indication from the replay. Here's the ball. Giampoli plays a very clever reverse ball. I had a feeling on the far side that Van der May perhaps played him onside. He was definitely offside if Kurtz was the last man, but I'm not sure if Van der May might have been the last man. And there is a change now for the Devonport Strikers. Joel Stone off. You might have thought an attacking substitution might have been a Kynan West or a Brodie Dennehy, but instead, more renowned for his defensive work, Jack Dance comes on for the Devonport Strikers. Brother Jesse Dance has played in the midfield before for the NPL team. Brother Jesse Dance currently out with a quite badly broken arm. We wish him all the best with his recovery, but Jack Dance on an attacking position for the Devonport Strikers. Ball in now towards Thompson, and very good hands from Pitchford. Devonport throw. Brendan Copper making a executive decision there as the ball play from Fitzgerald into the face of Dance, a bit of a falcon as they say. Syson dances on and then tries to play Dance in behind. Syson brings down Scott, who then brings down Dance in return. Like dominoes, they fell over there, but play allowed to go on. McDonald, who's been impressive in all things today, actually, McDonald. Couldn't do much about the goal that was, but other than that, he has been impressive with what's been asked of him. Stevens pressured by Dance, but Dance is away from him. Dance tracks him all the way, though. Ladich flicks it out towards Kurtz, who switches play again to Stevens. Some of the Olympia Warriors attackers being frustrated. You can hear shouts of move it forward emanating from them. Frustrated about some of the sideways and backwards play, perhaps. Ladich on the ball. Throws the feet of Ryan. We've seen him spin away from a defender, and he does again here. You might need to pattern that move. Ryan, he loves to kind of use the defender's body pressing against him and just spin on them. I've seen him do it a few times today. And he managed to fire a good shot away there at Pitchford, who was positioned well near his front post and was able to easily bat the ball away for a corner. But good play from Jack Ryan. Ladich, Scott in low, the front post cleared away by Park. And Colso has it, tries to go past Fitzgerald. Might have had a free kick. Syson needs to move the ball earlier. Finds Ignacio Giampoli, who doesn't take his touch towards goal. Keeps the ball in play, though. Finds Bidwell, whose touch, and the Devonport Strikers' touch just took them further and further away from goal there. So here's the counter-attack here from the Devonport Strikers, who, because they tried to go past Fitzgerald, was pushed over by him. Syson probably need to release the ball a fraction earlier and maybe chose the wrong option too, but or if not quite the right execution. But Devonport Strikers were through on goal about 3 on 4 on 1 at the back there if the right pass had been found and executed. As it is, the Devonport Strikers are on the ball again. Score remaining at 1-0, 15 minutes plus change to play. Lovely switch there to Fitzgerald, then to Syson. Shields the ball from Thompson, but loses out in the end to Kurtz. Now it's with Scott, who finds Curtis, who turns well, but gives it away to Park. Allowed to play advantage. Bidwell runs, plays it to Dance in a good position. Can he find the delivery? Bidwell! Oh! An audacious flick from Bidwell, but perhaps the only option he really had in attacking there. So Dance fired it in, and Bidwell just attempting to flick it on the outside of the left to lift it over the keeper and into the far inside netting, but very difficult
piece of skill to pull off that one, and as such, it found its way over the bar without requiring McDonald to do any further work. Oh, you're up. Sounds like the Peanut Gallery giving McDonald a bit of love here at Devonport. As Olympia attack, and Kosa did well to head down to Ryan there, who lined up the strike on his left foot. So the long ball came forward, and Kosa did well to drop it. And Ryan's first touch was excellent. Allowed him to take the shot early, but just pulled across it and went harmlessly wide of Pitchford's post. Giampoli could have been awarded a free kick there. A hand in the back from Kurtz. Maybe Giampoli made more of it than there was. Curtis can't find the pass. Brookers had a play. Lucas Hill's been pushed forward, it looks like. So, Curtis will play deeper. Lucas Hill going into midfield as they chase this game, the Olympia Warriors, sending their captain forward. 1-0 of a lead for the Devonport Strikers. As Brody Dennehy gets a warm round of applause as he returns to Valley Road after some time with the Wynyard Football Club.
Substitution for the Devonport TAS Strikers. Brody Dennehy on for a run for his first game of the year. Second time for a couple of seasons. Substitute for people.
So Eddie Bidwell, the man with the assist today, the man making way. As Lucas Hill's moving to midfield, has an immediate impact. And Jack Ryan turns. Can he get a strike away? He does, but it's straight at Pitchford. Jack Ryan's influence growing on this game as well. He's made a couple of strikes at Pitchford's goal, and he's getting closer and closer to finding one that ends up in the back of the net. I expect a big last 10-15 minutes here at Valley Road. Lascano flies in on Nkoso and the ball bounces around in midfield. Scott triumphant in the end. The ball forward from Curtis isn't particularly good, but he does win it back. Finds Hill, finds McDonald from New South Wales. Ryan and Mulroney. Mulroney back to Pitchford. Pitchford clears. Oh, actually finds a very good pass out wide to Brody Dennehy. Fresh legs to run at Jake Vandermeer. Vandermeer stands strong. Flicks it forward now. Kosa with a chance to run. Can Park get back? And Kosa cuts back on his right foot, as he's been a bit want to do here, but now he comes on his left. Tries to play it in. Lascano cuts it off as the Olympia Warriors press for an equaliser. So here's Ryan's strike. Lines that up on the left. Drilled it hard. Good connection, but didn't really challenge Pitchford. Ball in from the corner. Pitchford punches, and Pitchford impeded. So another ball testing picture there from the Scott, but the Olympia Warriors deemed to have impeded Pitchford as he punched it clear, and so he will have a free kick on his 6-yard box. Ball long forward, Jack Dance jumps well. Thompson down well. Thompson has been good since he's come on. He wrestles with Dance and gets the better of him. Ball comes forward to Ryan, who drops it for Hill, but Hingston alive to the move and pinched it and then used his body well to shield Hill. And now finds Lascano, who delivers towards Max Fitzgerald, who lost the ball in the air. Curtis plays to Stevens, who flicks it over to Vandermeer. Space for Vandermeer to run into here. He use all the available space as Sison comes across to Hill, but Lascano in well, read it well, and wins it back for the strikers. Sison, Dennehy, Sison, and Dance, Hingston. Dance again. Sison, Smith. Sison, a bit errant, but finds Fitzgerald here on the near touchline. Fitzgerald a chance to run at Kurtz, to Dance, tries to flick it back, but won by Curtis, who marauders into midfield, finds Hill, who could have turned, but didn't, lays it back instead, and it's turned over, but they win it back to the Olympia Warriors. Hill finds Ryan, uses his strength to hold off Mulroney and lay it out wide. Inside again to Lucas Hill, influencing the game in midfield. Turns, loses Giampoli. What can Hill create here? He has a couple for company. He's pulled down by Dance, and the free kick rightly given. In a good position for the Olympia Warriors. Ken Scott be pitched from here. I bet my money on Scott having the free kick, as you can see Dance diving in on Hill. A free kick. Just under 10 minutes to play, and then added time. A few substitutions and a goal. We might get 2 or 3 minutes of added time. Scott, the Englishman, over the ball. He strikes it. It's deflected. Pitchford keeps it in. Plays it up the line calmly to Fitzgerald, who keeps it in play. Finds Dennehy. Dennehy in behind, would have been in behind there. Ball, I think the whole ball had crossed the line. It was a good ball forward to Dennehy though, had the ball not gone out of play. But as you can see in the replay there, ball had seemed to have crossed the line. Olympia switch to Vandermeer from Curtis to Nkoso. Sison backtracking there. Does enough. Nkoso keeps it in though with his knee. Step over. Lascano and Nkoso come together. Copper tells them both to get up, and the ball comes forward. The Devonport Strikers and Olympia Warriors, the team making all the running now as they chase an equaliser here at Valley Road. This round 2 fixture, the ball through to Ryan is a nice idea from Scott, just slightly overhit by a yard or two, and Pitchford rolls out to Hingston. Comes to Sison, who is pressured by Ladich, loses out. Ladich can't find the pass to Ryan though, and Lascano, who has been important for the Strikers today, flies over under the challenge of Ryan, but no free kick given. Ladich now has a chance. He cuts it back to Lucas Hill, who you could say struck it like a defender. Sison uses his back to flick that one. Lucas Hill drives at the Devonport midfield, but loses out. Giampoli has a chance to run forward now. Loses Scott, cuts back, plays back to Sison, comes to Dance, tries to flick it over to Dennehy, but loses out. And a lovely little shimmy from Nkoso sees him through at Lascano. Lascano's tackle's important though. And the Strikers able to play it out through Mulroney and Connor Park. The feet of Dennehy, touches to Dance. On his toes a little bit there, Dance. Sison to Dennehy. Okay, so a good tackle. That one both Hurt both boys, I think. Throw from Park to Dennehy. Sees Dennehy's first touch out over the touchline. And Costa flicks inside to Hill. To Curtis, who's pressured by Fitzgerald. Oh, does well to find the pass to Hill. Now Kurtz has a chance to move forward. Will he look longer towards Ryan? He doesn't. He comes shorter, but loses out. Now Giampoli, a chance to move the ball forward. Can he find the pass to Dance? He doesn't use Dance. Now he does. A good ball, Jack Dance, but a good sliding tackle from Kurtz impedes the further advancement of the Devonport Strikers. So here's Giampoli. Doesn't use the first run, uses the second one by Dance. Dance can't quite get there. Todd Hingston into the feet of Dance. Hingston, Lascano. Hingston. Smith. The Strikers retaining possession there, a bit of game management. Dance does well to shield, but then loses out. Hingston flies in, and a foul given against Dance, against Curtis, I believe, there. Another substitution here for the Olympia Warriors. And Joffrey Nkoso makes his way to the substitutes bench. And it is Brenton Allen who makes his way onto the ground. As their long ball forward from the... I tell you what, I'm about 100% sure that was a ball. The ball struck the hand of the Devonport Strikers player there. And Devonport Strikers now maraud forward. A counter attack directly from that opportunity for the Olympia Warriors as the ball comes to McDonald, but the longer ball forward there wasn't quite clear by Devonport and then was struck back in, and it looked like it struck the hand of the Devonport Strikers player in the box there. Devonport then launched their own counter attack forward, but Lascano there goes down under the challenge of Ryan. So we get a replay here. Headed down by Mulroney. Comes to Vandermeer. Connor Park running out at Vandermeer. Vandermeer looks to swing it into the box, and it very much looks like it may have struck the arm of Connor Park. However, difficult for the officials given that it was on the far side of Park's body. So the Park's body was between Brenton Copra and where potentially the ball struck his arm. So hard one for Brenton Copra to give without the assistance of VAR or his linesman, but does look like it struck the arm. It was pretty close range, so was it ball to hand or hand to ball? All that old argument was were his arms in a natural position. You can ask all of those questions. Lucas Hill comes forward. Finds Allen New onto the ground, step over, has some fresh legs to go past Park, but Park does well. Then he brings it down, finds Syson, who rather tiredly just kind of lifts it forward as time ticking away from the Olympia Warriors here. They're being squeezed here. A foul. Fitzgerald, yes. Dance pulled him back. Devonport Strikers pressed there, two of them on young Curtis, the substitute, the second half substitute, but Dance adjudged to have pulled him down. McDonald will take the free kick. Todd Hingston coming off. No. Some hand waving from Rick Coughlin. No, he is coming off. So Todd Hingston makes way. Conan West coming on for Todd Hingston there. Prolific substitute for the Devonport Strikers. Had some FFA Cup experience last year, Conan West. McDonald plays it forward. And involved straight away, Kynan West, a thumping challenge on Stevens. Fitzgerald now with the ball. He has a chance to switch it out to Dennehy. Doesn't quite get it right, and Dennehy has to turn around and chase it. He has Allen for company, Dennehy. The two substitutes go at each other. Dennehy comes back, though, to Park. New to the Devonport Strikers defence this year. Much vaunted defence from last season. Lascano clips it towards Dennehy. Vandermeer, the favourite there, a height advantage, wins the ball, but it will be a Devonport Strikers throw. As we have ticked into added time here. So Connor Park makes his way slowly over to take the throw in, allowing the clock to run even further. 1-0 will be a good result for Rick Coughlin here against a very strong Olympia Warriors side in his first game in this NPL season. Syson flicks it past Scott. Nice little move, and then flicks it past Vandermeer. Swings it into the box. No one there for Devonport Strikers, though. Oh, McDonald makes a bit of a hash of that, but he and Kurt's not quite communicating. But all's well that ends well. Smith. Giampoli, fancy feet. Had Thompson for company, lost him, comes back to Smith. Mulroney, the Devonport Strikers captain, thumps it forward. Olympia Warriors, one last chance here. Scott over to Allen, the chance to run at Park. Is there an equaliser here late for the Olympia Warriors? Allen and Park. Allen cuts in and shoots. No, Mulroney away. It was across, really. Fitzgerald makes a last-ditch run and tackle on Lucas Hill as they attempt to keep a clean sheet here and their victory. The ball goes long towards Ryan. Oh, very nearly got to that, Ryan, but perhaps the tension of Mulroney was just enough to put him off as Fitzgerald picks it up in an attacking position. Laddish for company finds but was outnumbered in the end, and now Giampoli runs away for the Devonport Strikers. Time very much ticking away from the Olympia Warriors. Daniel Syson and Brady Dennehy. Will he take it to the corner? Will he whip it in? Vandermeer puts it out for a corner. Be a corner for the Devonport Strikers. Could well be the last piece of action in this game. All attention on Brenton Copra now. So there's a long, more direct ball there from Vandermeer, and Ryan inches away from getting a toe to that. Any piece on that from Ryan would have deflected that into the goals past pitch, you feel. Just not Olympia Warriors day there. Syson taking a long time over the corner. Allowing the clock to run down. Goes to the near post. Doesn't actually get it past over Scott. Scott can only tow it away though, but it deflects off Syson. Olympia might have the chance to launch one last attack. And it fizzles out as Vandermeer's clearance only goes out for a throw-in inside his own defensive half. Connor Park. We're pleased to keep a clean sheet along with his new Devonport teammates in defence. Syson and Scott wrestle for the ball. The two Englishmen have been at it all day. You hear Rod Andrews belting around the ground there, the ground announcer on the ground microphone. Copra checks his watch again. Park comes down to take a throw. Deep in attack. Whistle imminent. I think as soon as this goes into play, it's going to be blown by Copra. There it is. The Devonport Strikers victorious in this round 2 fixture against the Olympia Warriors. 1-0 winners. Daniel Syson, the goal scorer.
Stevens today. Great work. Make sure you give these guys a cheer when they get off the ground after doing their warm up, ladies and gentlemen.
So the Devonport Strikers victorious today, get their season off to an excellent start. Disappointing result for the Olympia Warriors, who now have to make the long trek back to Hobart with their pockets empty. Rick Coughlin, a successful start for his first game in charge of the Devonport Strikers, and all things considered, the Devonport Strikers worthy of the 3 points today. A bounty of clear-cut chances created throughout the day, but the chance of the day presented to Daniel Syson was taken clinically and was the difference between these two sides at the end of the day. So 1-0 the Devonport Strikers over Olympia Warriors in this round 2 fixture of the NPL season. NPL season well and truly underway now. And we'll look forward to further fixtures hosting you here at Valley Road in the future. I've been Camille Douglas. Hope you enjoyed the slice of cheese and Football Tasmania coverage today of this NPL Tas clash. Touches around, Ortman finds Ignacio Giampoli, Stone with time to turn and finds Bidwell, an excellent pass, perfectly weighted. Bidwell cuts it to Syson, who cuts past and scores for the Devonport Strikers. They take for company. A big strong lad, a good ball in. Oh, and Ladish puts the back of his head to it instead of the front of it, and it goes box. Look for Ryan to get on the end of this. Been impressed with his work. Instead it is Parker heads towards his own goal, is out for a corner ball. Cleared away by Park, comes to the top of the box and is fired in, but is blocked by Fitzgerald, and he's probably handled the ball. Fitzgerald's touch is heavy, he's in on goal, Stone with him. Fitzgerald's touch is taken in wide, and that's excellent. Brings it down with the outside of his foot. Comes back to Parker, who tries to roll it back, but Nkoso wins it off him and then goes past Park. Joffrey uses his pace to go past Lascano, but Lascano does excellently to recover. Slide tackle and then tackle from Lascano in recovery as we're back live. Fitzgerald with the ball and out. Ooh, a good run, cutting in field and then striking on the. He touches around. Ortman finds Ignacio Giampoli. Stone with time to turn and finds Bidwell, an excellent pass, perfectly weighted. Bidwell cuts it to Syson, who cuts past and scores for the Devonport Strikers. They take. Scott fires in. Is there an immediate response? Oh, there nearly was. An excellent ball in from Scott. And this game, some magic tackle by Hill. Joel again stepping past a couple. Lucas Hill flying in on Bidwell there, and Bidwell hurt from that one. Englishman on the score sheet today is Daniel Sison of the Devonport Strikers. Stone's touch is bad. Scott goes down. Well, Strikers fans would suggest that they were worthy of their lead. Fitzgerald now squeezing. Oh, I tell you, there's Fitzgerald influence playing that ball in behind. So Kurtz looks like he's gone into fullback position. Battles with Giampoli and Olympia retain possession. Park in there with studs up on Vandermeer, but then Kurtz, but didn't get it right. Jack Ryan outnumbered by the Devonport Strikers. He bounces into Sison, and Sison through Park, and then Lascano, who's going to look for a big switch to Fitzgerald. No, comes to the feet of Bidwell instead. He flicks it nicely around Stevens, and then to Stone. Devonport Strikers in a good position. Joel Stone goes forward, shoots, and a very, very good save low down forward to Lucas Hill, who's the furthest forward for Olympia Warriors, but Joel Stone is tripped by Hill.